And we're back with another episode of the Pals Podcast. I am your co-host, Danny Galarno.
And I am Ricky Liordi. And Danny, who do we have on this week?
We had Hilary Henderson on the podcast.
She's a comedian, podcast host, just an overall fun person.
Oh my God, it was such a fun episode.
Yeah, she's got a show this Saturday at the Comedy Bar at Bloor in Ossington, 7 to 10. It's mostly folk, female-run comedy show, but go check it out. I will be there. Danielle will not, unfortunately. But yeah, really fun conversation. We talked about how she got started into comedy, some of the highs of comedy, some of the lows.
I think her first story is my favorite story, so I just can't wait for people to listen to that.
Yeah, it was really good. She's got great energy, and she's doing some really cool things. She's going to be touring all over Canada later on this year as well. So go check her out. Hilary, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for being a pal. Thank you for coming on this. And Danielle, what do we say?
Let's fucking go.
Hilary, welcome to the Pals Podcast.
Thanks for having me, pals.
My first question, I've been dying to ask this all day, and I was thinking about it. How does one become a comedian? Were you just like always funny and people were like, you should become a comedian? Or were you just like one day like, I think I'm funny. Let me go up on stage and see if people laugh at my jokes?
Okay, like short answer would be just like mental illness.
Okay,
for sure.
yeah.
But like long answer was I was a drama like theater nerd my whole life in high school.
Okay.
Nobody was interested in taking me to the prom. Like that was like just the nerdy, insufferable. Like I was on a competitive improv team in school.
I did improv.
Okay, you get it. Did you have a boyfriend in high school?
It was elementary school.
Oh,
and it was like in French, so we called it impro, and I actually sucked.
I love it.
And we get in so much trouble for like speaking English, but that's all I remember.
Okay, like it is like that's a nice tool to learn a new language, like through just play. Because at the end of the day, like improv, like comedy, like it is kind of play. Like
Yeah,
you get to return to
100%,
your like childhood self a lot. But no, the way I started doing stand up was I had like done. Oh no, Ricky's spilling. That's okay. Are these expensive?
No, it's fine.
He's already splooshed everywhere. How embarrassing.
Good, Ricky.
It's how long it takes me.
You're telling me
We're good, Danny. We're fine.
Is
We're
there more
fine.
beer on this couch?
Oh, yeah, there's probably a lot of shit on this couch.
It actually does. It looks fine though.
Yeah, Danny, it's fine. It's just prime. Okay, continue. So improv.
Yeah, so did improv, I knew from a very young age I wanted people to pay attention to me. Like that was something that always felt really important. And I grew up like big church girl, so the first performance I ever did was like nativity scene, like church plays. And then when I was in university, I studied like economics and world issues, like nothing related to anything creative at all, because I was like, I need to make money. You can't make money off of this. Which like fair,
well,
you know.
Fair at the time. Mom and dad were probably like, "Hilary, come on, like let's."
Kind of, yeah. No, like you're young and I don't know, like when you're 18, you think like your one choice of what you're going to study in university or college is like your whole life, and like I don't know, so many people I know now don't even work and all in what they studied, which is totally fine. But for me, the reason why I ended up doing stand up was because let me backtrack. Beginning of 2020, January 2020. Okay, remember we're like 2020 is going to be our year, new decade.
We all thought that.
It's going to be amazing. Like the first week of 2020, I got in a pretty like not serious car accident, but I do get a concussion from it. And I don't know if you guys have had concussions before, but like, as you know, you can't watch any screens. You can't do anything too stimulating. You can't read. Mm-hmm. And for me, like my podcast is literally called Overstimulated. Like I love like watching. I love to consume entertainment, everything. I need to be busy. Like I hate to be idle. Like my mind cannot take it at all. I should probably meditate. But like I was so upset that I had this concussion that I lived with my boyfriend at the time, and he started like he would turn on TV at the end of the day, and I'd be like, well, I can't watch TV. Like, and get all upset about it. And so then he started watching stand up, and unless the comedian's doing something really physical, you can kind of get the comedy just by listening to it. So I'd literally sit there with an eye mask on, listen to stand up as if it was my audiobook. And I just like something in it, like I don't know if it was the just pandemic had started at this point and just being like kind of everyone had this like fuck it, the world is ending mentality, or because also I had just like graduated and was working in like the job that I went to school for and was like I kind of miss my roots. Like I want to be more creatively fulfilled. And so, yeah, then I was like, I'm going to start doing stand up. I got a whole bunch of books from the library on like how to write jokes and like how to do stand-up. Like I got so nerdy with it. And then when I moved to Toronto, I started just doing open mics. And you guys will love this. The first open mic I ever did was actually with a Tinder date.
Wait, okay.
Oh
Like-
my! I have so many.
No, yeah. Let's go back. Okay, so 2020 COVID. I get the idea because the world was burning down and ending.
I also get the whole concussion thing, like trying to find something else
Yeah,
to do.
yeah,
like,
exactly.
Because it's so hard to like
stand-up
find
makes
stuff.
sense because I feel like everybody was watching stand-up too. Like Dave Chappelle came out with a
Yes.
Netflix special.
Also, it did coincide with like an
Oh, like
uptick of like stand-up was finally getting into
On
like
Netflix,
mainstream
too,
and
yeah.
Netflix. Exactly.
Like
yeah.
Kevin Hart's stand-ups were like
Yes,
massive
yeah.
during COVID. So I get it. You're sitting there because you don't need to watch.
Yeah.
You fully get it. Like, okay,
Well,
Kevin
so
Hart's
many
a
comedians release like albums, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like it's just you record basically your Netflix special, but it's just audio only, and you listen to it the radio. You can listen to them on Spotify.
Yeah, like I think Kevin Hart's one of the better kind of physical joke tellers. Like, you know, like I keep thinking about the one where he puts the mic where his dick is and he's like, oh, sorry, coming through. Like,
Right.
I forget that joke, but I remember laughing it so hard. But
I'm blindfolded on the couch next to you, and being like, "What's happening?"
no, but like I completely get what you're saying. Like, it's one of those things where during COVID you were losing your mind. But so wait, you went to the library, got the books.
Yeah.
Were you funny growing up? Like, was that your skill?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you were
Like
fun.
probably more of a coping mechanism than a
Yeah,
skill.
okay.
But like I was often like, like elementary school especially. I feel like in high school I like started to dim a little bit more because I was like, oh shit, like I want people to like me. I want the
fit in,
boys to
yeah.
like me. And boys don't really like funny girls when you're like 14. Like they don't want to be like outsmarted and outmaneuvered like that.
Fair
like
enough.
it's like,
Fair enough.
took me much later into my life where prospective partners appreciated that quality. But yeah, like it was, I was funny growing up. I was always like making jokes. Like but I was smart. Like I always got good grades. So I'd always like just circumvent detention.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got the books from the library, wrote a couple of jokes. Tinder date.
I love how you went to the
stand-up.
library for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
well, because
wild, too.
I'm
Like,
very,
what did you find? Like jokes for dummies? Like
pretty much like there's basically a lot of failed stand-ups have written like books on like how to do stand-up comedy, but like I can send you guys some if you want to like link them below, the ones that I read. But I think it was just like how to stand up, and I think it was just like sometimes it would be talking about like how to craft your act. Sometimes it was like just joke writing, like how to make things funnier. But I was like, as much as I think people probably perceive me as like a big risk taker, which I think I am to an extent, I was also like, I better be fucking prepared. Like I better just nerd my way into this. Like I was like, I want to have all the background.
Your first stand-up, was it fully prepped or did you have any like free flow in there?
It was pretty prepped.
Okay, but
yeah.
I wanna go back to the Tinder date.
Oh yeah.
Like your first stand-up Tinder date.
Yes. Okay, so before I ever made it to that Tinder date, I would like FaceTime my best friend who like lived in Prince Edward Island, which if people don't know Canada that well, it's like a 2-hour plane ride away. Like we're long distance besties. And I would like FaceTime her or like take videos of myself literally like holding up a highlighter in my bedroom, like telling what I thought the joke was going to be. And I would pretend like it was my little microphone. And she would like obviously give me great feedback all the time. Like she like, no notes. That's great.
We love a supportive bestie.
Yeah, no, she's so great. But then when I moved to Toronto, I had started making TikToks. I was like, okay, I'm going to see if I can be funny online. Okay, good people like this. I'm ready to go on stage now. And at the time I was talking to this guy off of Tinder who was a DJ. So that was a win for me. 23-year-old Hilary was like, holla, this is my man. And then he was like, oh, well, because I'm a DJ and like work in nightlife, like I know people, so like I could probably find us an open mic. And I was like, okay, great. That'd be perfect. Cause that's kind of, I think, like the
so
hardest.
hot.
Yeah.
You're like,
Because
oh.
that's kind of the hardest thing when you're starting comedy. Like even if I were to like up and move to like a new city or like go somewhere on holidays, just like finding the spots to go to like first build it up. And so he was like, oh, he's going to like get me a spot on a mic. Like, am I in? And then we go. And he actually tries to do stand up that night as well. Fails miserably.
At least you tried.
I was just going to say, I respect
that. I really
respect
respect
that.
that.
I respect the hell out of that.
I respected it, but I was like, this is kind of my moment. Like, we got a drink before, and I was like, sorry, I'm like in my notebook right now. Like, I'm busy. Like, no, I can't have a sip of alcohol before I get on stage. Are you an animal? Like, this is my debut. You think I'm gonna have you wreck it? Like,
And he's like, yeah, fuck it. I'm funnier when I drink.
yeah,
Apparently
yeah, no,
not.
literally. And yeah, I had, so I also, in that all that time, I took a course with the Second City in stand-up and like stand-up writing. And so I think set I did at like the first open mic was I think like one of the first, like some of the jokes that I'd written in that class.
Wow.
But
Okay,
that
did he
was cool.
laugh?
He laughed. Yeah. I got
Did
some
everybody
laughs.
else laugh?
You know, like most sets, there was some good laughs and there was some like, oh, we're gonna leave them wanting a bit more on that one. Like sometimes it like just doesn't land. And also sometimes like as I've matured as a comedian, I've realized that like an open mic is like I literally was just at one earlier tonight. Like sometimes it can be a great supportive room where you're like, okay, let me just try this one piece of a joke or this new idea and just like see if there's some snickers and it's relatable. But also like the audience of an open mic is like your other comedians, and so sometimes people aren't even really listening, like they're thinking about what they want to be saying next. Often people who do comedy are like young men, and so like I remember one of the first jokes I wrote, and I still do now on stage and I've worked it out now, but I was like talking about how I don't really enjoy having casual sex, and like a group of like 20 something men was like, yeah, this is actually not relatable at all. Like the
fair,
idea I
okay,
was
yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
like wasn't able to connect with them.
I feel like that's a good like practice, I guess, too. Even just for yourself, even if no one's listening.
Totally.
Like, just
yeah.
make yourself more comfortable. Like, what's the
Yeah.
scariest part about being up there?
The scariest part is like you feel like you're like not so much anymore, but you feel like your whole like self-worth is on the line. Because like imagine, you know, you've spent all day thinking about this. Maybe you've been trying to visualize what it's going to look like. You spent weeks before, maybe even months, like writing everything out. And then it all comes down to the line where you say your punchline, then you pause. And like the silence is uncomfortable, right?
Okay,
like,
so I will be honest right now. I used to hate going to comedy shows, like despise, because I was scared of not laughing or not thinking it was funny and feeling
as
bad.
an audience member,
like
you
I
were
was
scared.
I was terrified.
Yeah.
My friends would be like, hey, let's go to a comedy show. I'm like, no, I'm out. I would not go. Finally went for a friend's birthday, ended up having such a good time. Like it was so fun.
Were you afraid you were going to get like picked on by the comic, or like you were afraid that you were just not going to laugh?
I was not
Like,
gonna laugh, and I was gonna think it
Yeah.
was like uncomfortable, and like I felt bad. That was
Really?
like
Yeah.
that's a big
Well,
and I was
it's-
so scared. And then I was like, hey, like why? Like
Yeah, well, it's interesting, Danny, because I feel like a lot of women especially feel the way that you do. Like women aren't used to like being in rooms where like we can laugh and be loud and like silly.
Yeah.
And like sometimes,
Really?
you know, yeah, because sometimes if there's like someone laughs weird or for too long, then the comedian is like, what the fuck? Like it's like the audience, although they're separate or like depending on how much like crowd work you're doing or whatever, is like, but they're a part of the show. Like it's a dance back and forth where like I say something, you laugh, I say something, you laugh. And like in my experience, at least doing comedy, like there's girls that'll be out with like guys on dates, and then there's like groups of dudes that'll be out with their friends. But like it's rare that the girls will be out and be like, girls night, let's add a comedy show into the mix.
So, a comedy show is one of the best date night spots you can go on.
I agree.
Here's
Yeah.
why. Because every fucking woman in the world, maybe not every single one in the world, but 99% of them want to laugh. You got professionals making your girl laugh. She's wet before you even leave there, and you did fuck all. Literally.
Yeah.
Like,
And now she's like, he's funny too because
Yeah,
he
because he brought me
here.
here.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not a big comedy like club kind of guy. I've gone on a couple dates when I was like in my early 20s probably to comedy clubs, and every single time the woman always said they had the best night ever.
Hell yeah.
Just because, and again, I did nothing.
Wait, so why have you not brought that back then if it worked
Yeah.
well?
Do you know what?
I
It's
feel like
just
that's a good thing
so-
for you to like start doing.
well, I'm going to her show on Saturday, which
Yeah.
we can plug after. Comedy shows aren't like my favorite thing to do.
Okay.
And
Ouch.
a lot of times when I go on days, I'm not like I don't watch
Yeah.
I don't watch stand-ups on
It's
Netflix
everything.
that often. Like I've watched the big ones, obviously. Or, like,
Mhm.
I'll see the clips of what's the really handsome comedian right now, the young guy. He's like really popular on TikTok, handsome dude.
Oh, Jawline. Are we talking?
Yeah,
that guy?
jawline guy.
I can't even remember his name right now. Matt Rife.
Matt
Rife.
That's who we're
I
talking.
was at the tip of my tongue.
So
and I
I'll
didn't
watch
want to say
I'll
it.
watch some of his clips and stuff, but even that, like, you know, he comes to Toronto. I'm like, do I really care to go? Like,
Right.
I love concerts. I love sporting events. Like, I love
Okay.
like a fun night out, like gallivanting on Ossington
Yeah.
or Queen or King or whatever. Going to comic clubs hasn't been my thing, but that's why I'm excited to go to yours.
Okay, I'm hoping that comedy will
Yeah.
become your thing after
Well, I will come to
my
yours.
show.
I'll
Yeah.
come to yours. I won't be at every one of them, but this one I'm gonna be at.
Hey,
I'm
is there
excited.
a certain, because like it's only been, I guess, like you're hitting your 5th year right now, because
That's
2020
right,
is not
yeah.
that, like it's not been like that long. Who's been like your biggest inspiration, I guess, in the comedy
Ooh,
space?
So like I didn't grow up in a family where we were watching a lot of comedy. So like I don't vibe with like a lot of the old timey kind of, like I appreciate them. But the first person that I saw doing stand up and I was like, whoa, that's so cool, was Taylor Tomlinson. Like I just thought the way that she was speaking, and I never seen someone who looked like me, was around my age, who like talked like me, me who had like similar viewpoints as me, like actually doing comedy. And so she was the first person that I was like, hell yeah. But then getting into comedy more, like I love Tina Fey. I love Amy Poehler. Like I think like some of their like old SNL stuff is just like the
OG,
best.
yeah, the
yeah,
OG
yeah. And I
female
love like the, you know, they're both like very satirical and just kind of like goofy, like good vibes all around. I really love it.
Who's the new big Canadian? Chelsea Handler?
She's like not new, I
but
would
she's
say,
like-
but
I
she's
feel
like
like-
popped
yeah.
off. Yeah, yeah.
She just hosted, wasn't it the Grammys or the...
She hosted. Nikki Glaser did the
Nikki
Globes.
Glaser, that's what I'm
Glaser.
saying. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I love her. She's fantastic.
She's
she's,
so
yeah,
good.
she's blown up in the last couple of years
yeah.
too.
But that's also someone who like I think she won like America's Next Top Comic in like the early 2000s. You know, like it's a long
Holy
road
shit,
to
yeah.
like be hustling, and like she's been somebody for but
Yeah,
it's hard.
it is tricky because comedics aren't like musicians or athletes or I don't know. Those are the two easiest like relatable ones where it's like they're popular and everybody knows them, but a lot of comedians could walk down the street and you wouldn't even recognize them.
Yeah,
Unless they're like
yeah,
the mainstream ones that are on SNL or like that become actors after. 'Cause I
Right.
feel like a lot of comedians become actors and do like,
Yes.
you know, like Adam Sandler, Jim Carrey, like all these guys were comedians prior to their acting careers.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm grateful I can walk down the street and
Yeah. Would you ever want to be an actress? Sorry.
I would. How dare you think I haven't already dabbled? But I
Have
have.
you?
I have.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
my bad.
I've been in a couple of commercials and short films, but like
Okay.
for me, it's not the focus because I realized through doing like when you're an actor. It's a great experience, but like you're the director's puppet. Like they're like, be this character, give me this emotion, look over here, then pause, then look here. Like it's like very, and it's fun because I love being able to use like expression as like the art form. But I realized through that I was like, oh, I really love just being me. Like I like being a character, but I really love just being me. And I love like if there was like a great opportunity where I could kind of inject, maybe I could even be involved in some of like the writing of like, the show. I would love to do that. But like if I could play it, that's like, I don't know, just
like,
stretch
what's
too
like
far for me.
the goal? What would be your goal in comedy and like the comedy
was literally
space?
gonna ask the
Oh,
same thing too,
I
yeah.
love this question. My dream would to be to like have my own either talk show or like late night show and then tour doing stand up.
I love
That
that.
would be the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I love both parts of it because like, well, guys, Ricky was on my podcast. You have to go check out that episode too. But I love like being able to sit down with someone new or like if I'm making a TikTok about like a topic that's like caught my eye in the news. Like I like that it's like it's new and it's quick and it's always stimulating. Whereas like stand up, it still is very stimulating, but like you're working on like say for example like my 15-minute set, like that's taken me years to craft, and like I'm sure as I like keep getting better at it, that'll take me less time to do it. But it's very like, I run that same 10 to 15 minutes for months, like changing maybe small little things,
Yeah.
but it can be not monotonous, but it can be like very repetitive over and over again with stand up.
But I can see like even what Ashley and Raina do from Girls Gotta Eat.
Yeah,
like, They have
100%.
their show, that's their bread and butter, but
Yeah.
then they tour and then Ashley tours on her own as a stand-up
Yeah.
comedian. So like, yeah.
I was.
I
Do
love
you
that
follow
model.
Hannah Berner?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I could like her direction right now is like insane because especially she was one of the girls on Summer House.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she
yeah.
got such a bad edit on the show and like just wasn't herself. But then since then, her comedy career popped off. But then she also has a podcast. She's on a 60 tour date for the podcast on top of her
doing stand
like,
up.
doing stand-up, like too.
Yeah.
So it's been insane.
Yeah. So successful. Yeah. I love those girls. I love Paige and
Oh
Hannah.
my God,
I love their
them.
podcast. It's
Well,
so
I heard
funny.
you say no notes before, and I almost stopped you, and I was like, "Do you listen to Giggly
Oh, yes, I
Squad?"
do. Yeah.
Because I'm like, that is like just like
We are women in STEM. That's us. Yeah.
Yes. You don't
Yeah,
get it.
I don't, I'm not a Hannah Berner or a Giggly Squad guy, but
Oh, I love it.
I get it. I love
Love,
it. for you.
love, love.
What's the scariest part about what you do?
Probably, I mean, I guess like most people would say probably like the scariest thing is like saying something and people don't laugh. And like obviously like sometimes you say something and people don't laugh and you're like, oh shit. But if you have a full set, like if your job, because as a comedian, right, like it's not like I'm doing slam poetry or I'm like singing a song, right, where it's like, okay, people didn't dance as much as this song, but it's okay. Like you're leaving silence as we like we're talking about earlier, and then you're waiting for one specific response. That response is laughter, and when it's faked, it's really gross and you know it. And if you don't get that response, then it's like very obvious. And so I think especially when I first started, it would be like humiliating to like practice in my room all afternoon, like be like, okay, I'm going out. Like I turned down dates. I turned down other social things I could have been doing tonight to like go do this show, and I fucking ate shit. Like what's the point? But I think for me, I realized like that piece of like quote unquote failure one, it's like a necessity. Like as a stand-up comedian, you don't get the luxury of failing privately. Like if I tell jokes just to you and you laugh, okay, sick, but that's not the same thing as if like a whole, like it's hard to really replicate that. And so like you have to fail publicly. But I think my advice to anybody interested in it, or just like in general where you're like, oh shit, I have to do, I don't know, maybe a presentation at work and you hate public speaking, is like your own, like you can't get better at it unless you just do it. And you might eat shit for a bit while you're doing it, but I don't know, if anyone's gonna like make fun of you for that, then kick those people out of your life.
We've been saying like with this podcast, like I was really nervous my first couple episodes, if you look at it then versus now, and even now sometimes I still feel a bit, but if I don't do it, or even doing my first episode alone, again, I've still only done one alone, but until I did it by myself, I had nothing to kind of compare.
How did you get over it?
I just forced myself into it.
You just fucking do it.
Yeah, but even just with like the podcast, like just sitting here and talking, I think just the more and more and getting out of my head. It's just getting out of your head.
I wanted to ask something too, but I did want to say, when we fail, and like again, yours is different because you might have 30, 50, 100, 200 people in the room watching you fail. In reality, nobody gives a fuck though.
Yeah.
I say this all the
seriously.
time. Nobody fucking cares when we fail. I'd rather fail 100 times over to get that one win than to not try at all.
Yeah.
And realistically, you're going to fail more than you win. And that's what winners do. They've just failed more than everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
But nobody really cares. Like,
but I think it's you're hitting on something really important there, Ricky, that it's like, it's your mindset and it's your attitude with failing, right? Like if let's say the first month I was doing stand up, bombed so hard, which I did. And I was like, shit, I'm not funny. This is the wrong dream. Like this is evidence of that. I'm just going to quit right here and not even try. Then you limit any possibility of you ever being better. So like if you want certainty, don't try. But like
but if you want anything like important in life, you're not going to get it right away. Like there's no easy way to get rich, easy way to get successful, easy way to become the best of anything. Like you have to just work at it day in, day out, and you will fail and you will take L's. You're going to take a fuck ton of L's. Like even in content now, people are like, oh, Ricky, what if you make something that tanks? I'm like, I'll fucking make another one. Yeah. What if that tanks? I'll just fucking make a bunch. And there's months at a time where like nothing is slapping. And we talked about this on the podcast recently with a creator. We said there's times you start to question your self-worth. Like, am I just fucking shit at this?
Yeah. Am I not relatable anymore? Am I not funny? Am I not interesting? Yeah. Right.
Like, my shtick of like single dating guy, whatever, like are people just over it? And you suck for a month. Yeah. And then you get that one random video that you didn't even think was that funny on your own, that wasn't that relatable, that ends up popping off. And you're like, all right.
Okay, even like I saw this on TikTok the other day, was something to put into perspective. Pink Pony Club by Chapel Roan. Right. That song was released in like 2018 or 2019. And now she just got Best New Artist. Right. So everyone's like, I thought the song released this year. Yeah. It is one of the biggest songs of the year. Yeah. Meanwhile, she released it 5 years ago. Right. It's like
you can see like clips of her on TikTok in like fucking parks to like 20 people being like pink on the keyboard.
Well, it's like the song by MGMT, Control Yourself.
Kids.
Control Yourself. So it's like there's a video of them like from like 2000 playing to like 20 people outside like a college dorm. Yeah. And it's like little do these guys know they're just about to make one of the biggest songs of the decade. Yeah. Right? It's so true. The question I did want to ask, does failing become easier the more you do it? For you specifically?
I mean, I think so. If it's a similar type of failure. I mean, failure, I think, as you progress, like, because as you keep failing, you get better. And so then the opportunities for you to quote unquote fail feel, I think, more dramatic. Like if I fail at an open mic, pretty inconsequential. It's like 15 of my peers that were like, wow, Hilary was not on her game tonight, but they forget about it, right? But like if I'm auditioning for something and I fail, that's like, fuck, like that could have been the difference of me being able to pay rent for like a couple months, or that could have been the difference of like, who knows, right? Like, so I think sometimes the consequences feel more, but I think it feels like softer in the way, like I have this belief that like, I'm going to end up where I'm supposed to end up. And like, unfortunately, I don't have a control over the timeline. And I would love for that to just like wake up tomorrow and I get like 100 emails in my inbox with all these opportunities I want. But like, I think if you like are able to hold on to the belief that like, you're going to get everything that you dream of and probably more, and probably get what you dream of in a way that you didn't even expect it. And as long as you're open to that, then I think like you can't see failing as like necessarily a bad thing. I don't know. Same question back to you. What do you find?
I 100% agree with you. I think at times we feel that the feeling of failure is bigger and more consequential and it's more important. But in reality, I'm so good at failing now. And it's like, I'm almost proud to say that because I failed so many times on so many different things where if I lose now, or if I take an L, I'm like, all right, fuck it, let's go back to drawing board, let's do this again.
Yeah.
The reason I asked you, because it's a little bit different, where it's, you know, each time you fail, you're on a bigger stage in front of more people, and it's like, does the more people, does it get to you, or is it just the same? It's like, no, I missed that day today. Like, you know, I failed on this set. You know, I could have made 100 people laugh and I didn't. You know, that's worse than maybe the 15 of my peers.
Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes it feels like that. I mean, especially if there's like, you know, there's a producer, someone in the room that I'm trying to impress and I know they're there. But I do find, though, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. If there's like one producer there that I'm trying to make laugh and I'm constantly looking over it being like, is he laughing? Is he laughing? Like that energy is now being expelled from me. And now I'm less present in what I'm doing. Like I'm going to be less relatable, and like live performance is an exchange of energy, right? Like if I'm giving weird energy, people are going to be like, wait, I'm a little uncomfortable. And if you're even like a little uncomfortable, how can you laugh? 100%. It's like, I don't know, I think like laughter is like similar to like just like an orgasm, right? Like you can usually tell when it's like faked, and like you need to be comfortable and relaxed and present in order for like that
you'd have an orgasm.
Yeah 100%. There we go. I'm just out there giving 200 orgasms a night. It's crazy.
That's why I bring dates to comedy shows.
Yeah.
Makes my job a lot easier.
Yeah, I love it.
No, but I get what you're saying, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's true. The more you feel like the more you progress in your career, you feel like the failures are bigger, but in reality, they're not. The failures are always kind of the same.
And like one way to look at it too is like, think how many small failures you had to get to even get the big failure, right?
Yeah.
To even have the opportunity to suck ass
really
that hard,
even
you know?
failures, or are they just like part of your journey and like steps towards what you want to do?
Look, nothing's a failure until you die. Then you failed. Then you didn't
Game
even
over.
fail. Then it's just game over. Right?
I would say almost like a failure is like a complete, like the ending of something. But like
so
when
whistle
you
getting blown at the end of a play. That's it.
Yeah, like I just like everything's like a step in towards you want to go, and like if you keep going at it, like I guess.
And if you're scared to fail, you're never gonna amount to anything ever in life.
Yeah.
And I'm very confident.
See, I think it's the word fail that's like throwing me off right now.
I think we're talking about it like fail as in like, you know, you had a video that didn't do well, or you like I told a joke that like
I don't
shit.
consider
or a
that
podcast that didn't hit the numbers we want.
Yeah, exactly.
Technically, that's a fail. Okay, so I had an app with my best friends, the cast, and by all measures of launching an app, we failed.
In what way?
We launched it. We wanted to raise X amount of dollars, and we wanted this app to have X amount of downloads, and we hit a lot of our stepping stones right along the way. But we didn't hit our ultimate goal, which was to be one of the largest social media apps in North America and eventually the world. So we did not achieve our goal. So technically we failed, because there's no middle ground. It's either you achieved your goal or you did not. There's like we kind of maybe. No, it's either you won or you lost. There's no participation medals in life.
But I guess that's something where like just to stop you, Ricky, like you defined what failure or success was in that. You were like, we want to be top 5 downloads, you know?
And it's different for every single person. We could have the same goals, but our definition of success and failure are different, even with the same goals.
Totally.
So we shut down the app, and technically we failed. We lost a fuck ton of money each. A lot of our savings we lost. But I don't look at that as a failure. I look at that as like, okay, it's just redirection. I might have not got the goals that we wanted, but I learned so many huge, valuable lessons that, you know, okay, you can't pay for them. Technically, we did. It cost us a lot of money, these lessons, but I learned from something from it.
Do you feel like you learned anything from it that positioned you for something you did after that, or for anything you're doing 100%. Now? Yeah.
My whole philosophy on life is like shoot or shoot. Like fucking in any aspect of life. And a lot of the things I'm doing right now relate to that. And like I like to define myself as a doer. I'm not a sayer. Like if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to fucking do it. And you know, with this app, we traveled in an RV from Toronto to Florida, Florida to Texas, Texas back to Toronto over 2 months during COVID when the borders were closed. Like to me, like the app might not have failed, but that one massive marketing initiative was a fucking huge success. And that one trip alone taught me so much about life, marketing, content, like customer service, just fucking everything.
Cool.
And we look back on it and I'm like, okay, yeah, well, the app technically failed.
Yeah.
But I would fail 100 times over if it meant learning what I learned from that valuable lesson.
I love that.
You know, and like it's translated in so many different aspects of my life. Like now I don't even think. Like on the things I used to think about during that stage of my life, I don't even think. I just do them now because they're so ingrained in my mind from that moment. It's like I would have had to pay way more money to learn these lessons in a different aspect or
in
different
university or something.
Like,
go to
like,
business
how
school.
How many fucking Tony Robbins and Alex Hormozy fucking seminars could I go to learn the
Yeah.
lessons I learned in those like real life experiences? Like even you probably learned a fuck ton of things too, and you were only with us for a week, right?
You went along on
Ben came for
the
1
road
week.
trip.
That's
Hell
when we-
yeah.
That's when we became homies.
That's like when we became best
Like
friends.
best
Oh,
friends.
cool. Very cool.
Imagine like showering in an RV with two
Or not
guys
showering,
and
yeah.
a girl, not showering
Oh
for
my
4 days,
God.
sleeping in like the top bunk, and like begging on like my like fourth night, being like, "Hey, my back really hurts."
No, okay. It sounds like it's all the worst parts of camping, but like you don't get the reward of like being outside.
So,
Rainy
like seeing
outside.
scenery.
That
yeah.
trip, we
I,
all-
I actually learned a lot that trip.
Yeah.
It was great,
Sure.
and I have a best friend out of
Yeah.
it. So
yeah, exactly. I define that trip as it was one of the best, worst experiences of my life. One of
Why?
the best because like the memories we made on that trip, like the schools we got to visit, or, you know, what we did for like, that was a huge success for the app too. Like we hit record breaking days, like day after day almost. One of the worst experiences of my life because I think we literally went 3 days without a shower. Like we broke the RV.
4.
Was it 4?
I will never
So,
forget.
4. We went 4 days without a fucking shower.
Damn.
Like we were eating microwave dinners. Like
Yeah.
we didn't
Nothing
see-
more than $5.
Nothing more than
Yeah.
$5. One of the rules we had. Like we.
I
would
kind of
work-
like that though.
Yeah,
like,
we would
yeah.
work all day, pack up our shit, drive to a different school while we're still trying to work. You get there, and again, when you're not working, you're still working. You're like, hey, where are we parking the RV? Is this Walmart safe enough to park the RV? Because we made some mistakes.
You're in the
Like,
middle of America.
and we're in the middle of America. Then it's like, okay, we got Hurricane Irma rolling through fucking Boston. What the fuck?
No.
Like
And it's
it-
also COVID, so I imagine there's so many more
COVID,
like
yeah, like,
precautions
it
and like
was
things you have
just-
to follow.
yeah,
and,
it was wild, but again, one of the best
We have
experiences.
not talked about the app in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Let's go. I didn't know that was part of your lore, Ricky. I like it.
Yeah, it was crazy. But anyways, enough about us. Yeah, back to you. The other question I had is, what's like one stage you would love to be present on?
Oh my God. I would love to be on the Comedy Store stage in LA. That'd be cool. I like went there 2 years ago with a friend of mine, and like the first night we were there, we got like front row tickets to see like some amazing comics. It was like so cool. I think one of them I tagged in my story and she like followed me back. I was like, it was Caroline Rhea. She was one of the aunts on Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Anyways, she's a Canadian actually.
Yes.
But she's down there now. And yeah, I feel like that would just be such a cool like full circle moment to be on that stage, because like I, was like
Yeah,
when I was
that's-
first
I feel like that's a
starting was like, oh my
really-
gosh, yeah. And it's also like one of the most like prestigious places to
Exactly.
perform on.
I feel like I have a friend. I don't even know. I can't remember who it was, but every time she goes there, some like big famous comedian always pops up on stage randomly, and I'm like, how is it always you? Always when you're there, and I'm just so jealous.
Yeah, I mean the Cellar in New York would be really cool. Also,
Yeah, that'd be a cool
that would be
one.
pretty iconic. Just even to like go on a trip and be like, just take a selfie on the stage. Like they don't
Say, fuck it, I'm there. I made it.
They put me on an open mic at 4 p.m. on a Sunday. Fine. Like,
Who's one comedian you would love to work with?
I'm gonna say Ashley Heselton because you got reach with her. So
Okay, I don't even know who
Shoot
that
the
is. Do you know
shot.
who that is?
Ashley.
Oh, Ashley. Oh,
Ashley.
okay.
Did I say her
what's
last name wrong? Heselton.
I didn't even know her last name.
Hess. Yeah.
When she comes to Toronto, I'll set it up.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'll open for her. I'm willing to do that charity, Ash. No problem.
Yeah, she's really sweet. So when she comes, I think it's in June or July.
Yeah,
I forget
yeah,
the date.
yeah.
We'll
Is there any comedian you like hate and like you just like don't vibe
yeah,
with?
right.
I'm actually not a fan of Matt Rife. We were talking
Oh,
about
really?
him
Okay.
earlier. I think he got big from like his crowd work clips, and you can't deny he's like very talented at crowd work clips. But after watching, I don't know if it was his first stand-up special, whatever stand-up special of his came out like last fall, I was like, oh, like
He got canceled for a bit.
yeah, like first joke out of the like first punch out of the gate was like literally about like hitting women, and I was just like, oh bro, like it's like when somebody has like a talent and a gift for storytelling, like I think not to be like too righteous or anything like that, but it's like, what, you could have talked about anything,
Well, that's what I actually want to bring this up. I was gonna
Yeah.
save it towards the end just in case this conversation goes sideways, but fuck it, we're doing this. What are your thoughts on comedians being exempt from the rules of like moral righteousness and whatever? Like, do you think comedians are allowed to say whatever they want because they're comedians and it is clearly a joke? Or do you think that they should follow suit with like not saying offside shit?
I mean, at the
Or
end
is there a line?
like I think everyone probably has their own line, or their audience has a line, but at the end of the day, like nobody can be judge, jury, executioner. The audience is the one who decides if it's funny or not. And so while I was horrified at the joke Matt Rife said at the beginning of his Netflix special, the audience there laughed.
Yeah.
So you know, in a way, check mark for him. Like the audience decides what's funny. Like I've seen it in real time. Like people are like, oh, I'm going to be like so edgy and like give this hot take on racism. It's always a white dude. And then you're like, oh, nope, people did not like that at all. And like now you as the entertainer feel that like shame of being like, oh shit, that didn't work.
Yeah, I went to Theo Vaughn here in Toronto.
Oh, how was that?
I actually had one of the best nights I've ever had. Like, it was so fucking funny.
He's hilarious.
Not expect it, but like, if you look back at it, like the whole show was offside.
Right.
As hell. Like he's so offside.
But you guys were laughing at the end of the day.
Every single person. And I looked around the crowd too. Like obviously majority white male, but there was a lot of other races, females, everything in it, and like I had not seen one person not laugh.
Was laughing. Yeah. And so I think at the end of the day, like if people are laughing and enjoying it, then no. And I mean, I think like generally cancel culture like doesn't work, because what happens at the end of the day, like even if I were to get canceled tomorrow, like I just wouldn't post TikToks for like a month and then I'd come back. You know what I mean? Like I don't think it like teaches people a lesson necessarily. I think, you know, there's probably certain groups and certain communities that like might not find you funny, and then you probably have to reflect, are you okay with that? You know,
it's a business decision.
Yeah.
It's a business decision.
Yeah, honestly, are you okay with having a smaller customer base? That's kind of what you're doing.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's interesting because I always think about, I think Dave Chappelle said something really offside in one of his specials like a year ago.
Yeah.
There was a lot of scrutiny of him coming to Scotiabank Arena.
Yeah. He said like his jokes about trans people were pretty.
Yeah, they were offside 100%.
Yeah.
But he even said, he's like, I'm a comedian. It's my job to make people laugh. If they laughed, I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
I don't care if I cross lines.
Yeah.
Again, people might not agree with what I say, but it's all in entertainment.
Yeah. And I think when you're a comedian as well, like you're specifically exaggerating. Like I have jokes about incels, you know? And like I'm purposely exaggerating things about that in order to like make a point and be funny, you know? And like, but also I'm very comfortable if like no incel ever comes to one of my shows. Like that's a market I'm willing to lose.
Yeah, it is honestly, and I always thought about that because I'm like, what if you came up with this funny thing and it's fucking offside, but in your mind you think it's funny.
Yeah.
And let's say maybe it doesn't agree with your political or your religious or your moral stance. Would you say it, yes or no?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I was talking about my Christian roots earlier. Like I have lots of jokes making fun of Christianity. Like at the end, I'm not calling any like one who believes in that stupid. Like I still believe in Jesus and a God. But I think like if you can't make fun of these things and you can't like point out what's like satirical or ridiculous about it, then like what are we doing? Like in some
100%. Okay, we're aligned. Yeah, that's how I think too.
Yeah, I think like are there lines? Like yeah, sure. Like if I just like got up on stage and like I don't know, don't use this as a clip, but if I just got on stage and like said the N-word or something like that, like objectively that's like something pretty offside, you know? Like I cannot think of a scenario where like someone might find that humorous. Like that'd be weird. Like
but then there's times where like again comedians will go and you're like, if it's sometimes taken out of context, you can be like, that's all like what the fuck. But if people are laughing, they're doing their job, right?
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
So it's one of those like fine line areas.
Yeah.
Right?
It's such a fine line, and it's so hard because it's like one of those differences too. It's like, would you have this conversation with your parents or your grandparents at the dinner table,
right?
Versus like being.
If you're ever having a conversation that a comedic is having with his audience, with your grandparents, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like literally. You know, what the fuck? Like,
Let me finish my sentence.
You paused. So that was my cue.
My brain was just churning.
Your brain couldn't comprehend what you were trying to say?
No. No, I'm lost.
Okay, I like where you're going with this. I would say maybe parents or grandparents is not the right analogy, because like personally like my parents have came a lot like of times to see me do comedy, and like one time my dad was like, I think you should stop saying that joke about blue balls. And I was like, respectfully, Dad, you're not the target audience for that.
Respectfully, people laugh, so fuck you, Dad.
Yeah, kind of. And he was like, fair enough, you know? Like I was like, I'm not trying to entertain a bunch of 70-year-old dudes, so I think I'm good.
Fair enough. But again, you nailed it. If it's your job as an entertainer, comedians are entertainers. Your job to entertain the crowd. If they're laughing, then is it offside? Is it No, it's good for your business. It's good for your brand, and it's fucking funny.
I think so. Well, and for me personally, like the jokes I find the funniest are the ones where I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know anyone else thought that way. Like she really got me, or he really got me there, like something like that, right? Or if there's something relatable or like true about that, or you're like, oh yeah, you're right, that is that way, and that's that way too. Now I have something to think about afterwards. Like I think the best art in general, whether it's a music or a brilliant Pals podcast, like makes you like either remember something or change how you thought about something, or you know, like it leaves an impact. Yeah, exactly. And so you know, so you gotta bend a little bit to like give people the feeling.
I get 100,000,000%. If you weren't a comedian and you know do content and all these other things, what would you want to do with your life?
Oh my God. I mean, like my other life is like I have a master's degree in public policy, and I like worked in the like government for a little bit.
Wow. You had a master's degree?
Yeah.
Wow, good for you.
Thank
Congrats.
you.
Wow.
Yeah. It was like deep into not comedy, not my passion. That's for sure.
But you got a master's, so like you stuck around.
I did.
So like, let me do my undergrad and like, oh, maybe do like a 1-year post-op.
Yeah.
No, you're like, let me get my fucking master's.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And like, I mean, at the time, I genuinely was interested in like world issues and like, you know.
Now
like,
you just want to make fun of them.
well, yeah. Or like, I think I've realized like I can make probably more of like having worked in government. Like it's so sad. Like I think I can make more of an impact on the issues I care about by telling jokes about them than I can like pushing paperwork around, you know?
This is gonna
But
sound
that's not
really
what I would
bad to
do,
say,
but
do you think the car accident, like, was a good thing for you?
oh my God, Ricky, I never
Like,
thought of it that way.
that's so bad to say, and I don't mean it like that, but like, I kind of mean it like that.
I think it was the best thing to ever happen to me, to be honest. Because say I hadn't been in that accident, maybe I would have never watched stand up. Maybe I'd still be in the relationship with my ex at this point too. Who knows? Like
again, you obviously had your life like somewhat figured out. You got a fucking master's in something like you were passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming COVID was just based off counting backwards with your age. COVID was around the same time you would have just graduated and finished your master's, like a little bit after.
I actually did my master's from 2020. Like I graduated in spring of 2021.
Yeah. So again, this like whole comedy thing, car accident, masters is all in that like same rough time period.
Yeah. It's funny because like I would have never thought
that sounds so bad. I didn't mean it like that.
No. And I mean like, thank God it was not like, you know,
it didn't kill you.
A car accident that could have been like catastrophic. But like, because also when it happened at the time, I was living in Thunder Bay actually. So I was away from, I think I made like one friend there, but I really didn't have a good community set up there yet.
If I knew you back then, I would have set you up with my best friend. Like,
really?
To be friends with. One of my best friends lives in Thunder Bay.
Fuck. Okay. Well, if only we had
cool.
time. Well, if I wouldn't have got hit,
funny.
if I wouldn't have got hit by the car and moved to Toronto, we would have never met.
We would have never met. So there we go.
Never even got. But yeah, I was like, didn't really have a community, and my like boyfriend at the time was out of town that week, and so like I got hit by this car, and I was like, I don't know what to do. Like I also just like being like a young woman, I'm like, I don't know anything about cars or like insurance or like even driving. It was not my fault. It was a young boy who hit me. But like it felt like devastating to like have something so like adrenaline inducing happen, and then I go home and there's no one that I can like to like comfort me, and like I had no friends around that could like help me out or even just like fucking give me a ride places. Like I think I had to pay for like a $30 Uber to like the spot where I got the rental car that I had for the week or whatever. Anyways, just like stuff where I'm like, damn, it would have been really nice if like I had like some sort of community like around me. But yeah, I haven't. It's funny because like you're the that's made me reflect. I've never had to reflect on that before to be like.
It's just like again, anytime someone takes a career change or like does something different like this, I'm always curious, like, okay, what was your aha moment? Like, we talk about aha moments all the time. What was that? What was the moment you realized you made it or whatever? But like, even going back to like the aha moment for you, it's like, you talk about how'd you get into it, and the story that sticks out to me is the blindfolding, watching the stand-up comedy. It's like, hey, if you weren't blindfolded, would those of jokes have meant the same to you as they did?
Maybe not, or
like
maybe
you probably found it funnier because you weren't watching.
Yeah.
And you're like, in your head, you're thinking, okay, maybe I could do that. Like, if you didn't have this whole like concussion, maybe you wouldn't have gone to the library to get the books.
Well,
maybe
this also didn't all happen during COVID too, when the whole world had to slow down.
Right.
Like everything had to slow down, and we had to take a step back. From
I think everyone
life.
took inventory of like their life and who they were and what they were doing, and being like, well, is this aligned? Is this not? Like, if I dream of a more full version of myself, is this it? Or like, what parts am I missing? But I think who knows? Because maybe I would have had this desire to be back in like entertainment, and like I mentioned, I was always part of that as a kid. But maybe it wouldn't have transpired as stand up. Like maybe I would have been into like sketch, or maybe I would have joined like another like improv group or something.
Doing
like
more
that.
commercials or something.
Yeah, exactly. Which probably would pay better than what I'm doing now, to be honest. So
Again, like, and I always think about too, because there's so many worlds, there's so many different like multi universes where I don't do content. You know, if I never got let go of my job when I was 24. And went to go work for my family business, I could have still been selling media sales. Or maybe I'd be in tech sales or something now, and I wouldn't be doing content. If the app was still going, there's a 0% chance I would have been doing all the content.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't work for my family business and I ended up taking a different job after I got let go, I wouldn't be doing content.
Totally.
Like,
well, and also on the topic of failure, like me getting in a car accident, failure, you losing your job at 24, 25, failure, you know, like so many of those things that's like, had they been successes, you wouldn't have been able to do what you were doing now.
100%.
So,
that's why, like, when people are like, I think so many people are embarrassed to talk about their failures, when in reality, I think talking about your failures is so fucking important. You know, it's like you don't need to go to therapy to talk about failures. You can talk about failures with your best friends. Like nobody judges, because again, nobody fucking cares, because we all got our own fucking problems to worry about.
Why, Ricky,
like,
do you think, like, why do you think people are afraid of talking about failures or failing?
I think because a lot of people care so much what other people think about them, and they don't want to be judged. But in reality, look, you tell me about your failures, and I'm enjoying this conversation. There's nothing else on my mind other than this conversation. I will not think about your failures ever again after this conversation.
Yeah, right.
They will never fucking cross my mind.
Or I feel like in general,
unless you suck on Saturday, I will not think about I will not think. I will think about all the positives that came out of this conversation. I will think about all the good things that you've done, and I will think about all the things that made me smile and made me laugh from this conversation. I won't look back and think about any of your failures. Danielle, one of my best friends, I don't think about any of her failures ever.
Really?
Like, if you ask me what your failures are right now, I wouldn't even know. I'm like, maybe you like switched careers during COVID. That's a kind of a failure, but I don't even think that's a failure. Yeah. I don't even know what your failures are, and you're one of my best friends.
I thought you were going to say, like, when I had that really shitty episode where I just sat there the whole time, because you still talk about that.
Yeah, see, there you go. I don't even really fucking remember that now.
It didn't come to mind when he was
like, I have so many best friends where I'm like, I can't even think about what their biggest failures in life are, because I don't fucking care.
I was going to say, like, I also think it could be public perception, too, but I also think people are sometimes scared to admit their failures to themselves.
Right.
Scared to, like, admit that I'm failing at something and I'm not doing something right.
Yeah.
But it's okay to fail.
But I don't fail.
Well, and if you can't admit it to yourself, how can you say it to other people? But I was just gonna say too, like, as we've all like chatted over the last 40 minutes, half an hour or so, like, I feel like I have more respect for the both of you talking about like fail. You know, I didn't know about your app lore. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Like, you know,
fucking failed.
Like, yeah, exactly. And like, I have more respect for. Like, anyways, I think when people are real about that stuff, I just have more respect for them.
I just personally find that the more open you are about the losses, the more you can appreciate the wins, and the more people are happy for you when you win, right? Like if someone's always winning, I'm just like, oh cool, like good for you, man, like that's fun.
Yeah. Also, that's not relatable though.
But
like, how annoying is it to go out to dinner with a friend who's like, oh, just got engaged, everything's A+, just got promoted, everything's A+, just got a raise, everything, you know, you'd be like, okay, well, fuck,
what's wrong?
Yeah.
What's going wrong?
No,
because it can't all be perfect.
Yeah.
No, but like, even let's say you would have just sat here and said, oh yeah, all my shows are good, I haven't had any stinkers, blah blah, and then I go on Saturday and it's a good night, I'd be like, oh cool, I'm happy for you,
right?
You know, cool, great, you did exactly what you told me you were gonna do, exactly what I was expecting. But you told me you've had some stinkers. Now if you fucking crush on Saturday, I'm like, fuck
hell yeah, that's the art.
Fucking right, I'm laughing here. Yeah, fuck everybody else if they're not laughing.
Well, it's funny, Ricky, the first time I did my own, so my show's called Pink Chicken Comedy, I have it every month, but the first time I did the show, like producing a show for the first time where like I'm the headliner, like, you know, I had so much anxiety, and also like the anxiety was like not necessarily like, can I handle this, am I gonna do well, but I'm like, are people gonna come, like, are people besides like my 10 friends that I can like beg gonna come, you know? And like I ended up overfilling the room, like it ended up being amazing. And like after my opener finished, like she introduced me, I got up and I like was emotional and I started like crying a little bit, and you know, I made it like in kind of like a joke, but I was like, sorry, I'm just like overwhelmed, because at the time I think I'd been doing it for like 3 years. I've been doing this for 3 years, and like it's me in a lot of times in like dusty ass basements with dusty ass men, and I'm just so grateful only a couple dusty ass men showed up tonight. It was like what I said, but I was so overwhelmed that like what I was doing like connected with people, and they wanted to be there too.
People gave a fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the show. So
cool.
We're gonna move things around. So this is gonna release on Wednesday, so we can promo it. The show is Saturday at
Comedy Bar,
which is
It's at Bloor in Ossington in Toronto for you folks around there. Come, Danny.
It's in my calendar.
Yeah.
I
Ricky's
told
gonna
you
be
I'm
there.
going.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I gotta.
Yeah,
I have a birthday, or else I would be there, but I'll come to your next show.
Well, it's at 7, so you could come early before your birthday.
I have to be there at 6.
Okay. Oh, damn.
I finish work at 5.
Oh, that's stressful on a Saturday. But yeah, it's 7 p.m. at Comedy Bar on April 12th, this Saturday. And I don't have my May and January dates yet with Comedy Bar, but for people who maybe are listening from other parts of the world or the country, I'm going to be in Edmonton, Alberta for a couple weeks in August at the Grindstone Comedy Festival.
Fuck yeah.
I'm really excited for that. And then my co-host Michelle Forrester and I are going to be doing a bit of a Western Canada tour around that time.
Fuck
So
yeah.
if you're in and around BC or other parts of Alberta, we might be near you.
What can people expect at your shows?
So it's not just a night of stand-up. It's relatable. It's silly. Most of the performers I have are women, just because I found coming up there wasn't a lot of spaces for female comedians to be celebrated. And like when it was like one token one on the bill. And you're like, oh, and then it leads to this weird animosity where all the other female comedians are like, oh, well, she got this one, so I can't have this one. And so I wanted to create a space that like people can be celebrated. But the reason why I say it's more than just a stand-up show is we have a live interactive crowd work segment that's really cool. So as everyone's coming in, you get a little paper, Ricky, and it's going to say a prompt on it. And so like prompts we've used in the past have been like, you know, tell us about the last time a dude was weird to you. Interpret dude however you want.
Okay.
Or it was like, tell us about the time you got a compliment that sounded like an insult. And then my co-host Michelle and I,
yesterday,
we just exactly. And so we do like a really funny segment where we have these all in like a bucket and we'll pull them out. And like sometimes like they hit deep where you're like, girl, I've been there. And sometimes they're just silly. And it's like a nice journey because even if you're bringing something that's like maybe a little bit embarrassing or vulnerable, well, now you're in a room full of strangers laughing at that thing. Like how healing and cool is that? So it's kind of this like community building piece that is so special to me.
I should have asked this before. I'm coming solo. Is it
Okay.
like a good solo night?
I thought you were gonna bring a date.
No, I'm going solo.
100%.
Okay,
I'm going
I
solo.
have you
I don't-
down as a plus if you want to bring someone.
Okay,
you
maybe I
can.
will bring. But
But,
is
yeah.
is it cool coming alone?
I
too?
think it's totally cool
Fuck
coming
yeah.
alone because especially this crowd work piece, you get to like, you know, you can talk to there'll be some honeys there if you want to like, you know.
Well, my problem is I know if I bring someone, I'm gonna get drunk, and I'm trying not to get drunk on Saturday. Like I'm okay drinking, but like I know it starts at 7. And
Yeah.
if I start drinking at 7, that means like I'm definitely going out
Why'd you go with TV?
Yeah, why don't you go out?
because I have Easter with my nephew and niece on Sunday.
Oh.
So I want to be like mentally there.
Okay.
That being said, I can still be mentally there, extremely hungover.
Yeah.
It's just I don't want to be.
Okay. What
That
if you
being said,
just
who knows?
you
You never know.
set an alarm in your phone, be like, Ricky, 11:30, it's bedtime.
You're good at that. I've seen you do
Okay,
that
but if
before.
I'm having fun,
Okay.
if I'm having fun, I'm like, yeah, I don't care about bedtime. I'm going out. And then it's 3 a.m. and I'm like, fuck, I got to be up in 6 hours to go see my nephew and my niece. And I haven't seen them in a month. So I'm like really excited to see them.
Well,
right
and
now,
it's
but-
rough because especially when like, you know, the people you really want to be like present and like around for when you're like, fuck. Like,
Yeah, when I'm hungover, like I can still have fun with them, but like, you
yeah.
know, I'm not gonna be like crawling on the floor trying to play with them.
No.
which
You
I'm
will.
like,
no.
Adrenaline.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting drunk after my show if that changes.
Again, I'll be there. We'll
Oh
just
my
see.
god, I wish I could come.
I mean, I'm getting on a flight to Vegas the next day, so I hope it's not
Fuck
too
yeah.
bad. But
It's okay. Sleep on the flight.
yeah, exactly. Well, also, I think the flight's not till like 8 p.m.
Oh,
Sunday.
you're-
So
Sleep
it's
all
like
day,
we're
then
golden,
sleep on
we're
the flight. You're
golden.
gonna be
Yeah,
rested.
Yeah.
Because we're nearing that time. I want to ask you a couple more questions about your like touring and shows and everything. What's the one best show, or maybe even not the best show? Give me the one best moment of your career.
I think the day that I recorded my first podcast episode
Oh, that's
felt
good.
really exciting and really cool. And it was like something that I'd wanted to do for a really long time. I started doing like an audio only podcast like a couple months before, but I never released any of it because I was like, it's 2024 at that time. Like no one's going to listen
You need
to
video.
like, exactly. Right. And like, it just kind of felt like very serendipitous. And I also had a couple of other experiences where I like tried something that was like a quasi podcast, but it wasn't the right fit, whether it was like, you know, the studio or the producer, it never quite lifted off. And so it just felt like serendipitous when I found like the studio that I'm working with, and like we came up with this like concept that I felt really excited about. So probably that.
I love that.
Yeah.
Who was your first guest?
My first guest was a woman named Angelica Scanura. She's a comedian here in Toronto, but she tours all over and like in the States. Also, she just had a baby, like literally I think like 4 or 6 weeks ago, and is like back up on stage. I haven't seen her since she had the baby, but like I'm so obsessed with that.
I love
That's
that.
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's best moment of your career. Give me the best moment in your on stand up.
Oh, on stand up. Okay, I don't know if this is the best moment, but one moment that was really, really cool was the same trip when I was in LA that I was mentioning earlier. I ended up like a couple nights before that at like an open mic, and the guy hosting the open mic mentioned at some point that he was from Canada, and I was like, oh, that's cool. So then when I was in the green room, like getting ready to do, it's literally like you have 3 minutes to kill kind of thing. And so I'm in the green room, and like this guy's like looking at me, and I'm like, oh, hi, like I'm from Canada too, and he's like, okay, like literally like
Doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm from Toronto, like where are you from? And he's like, Montreal. Like literally he's like, I think he thought I was like some girl on vacation, like just trying stand up for like the first time, which I kind of was, but not the first time. But I ended up going up. The like crowd was, it went really well. And then when I got off stage, he was like, oh wait, so where did you say you were from again? Like how long are you gonna be here? And he ended up he was one of the producers of Don't Tell Comedy. That's like happens in like the LA one. And so he's like, okay, well, if you're here this weekend, like let me get your Instagram or like your number or something, and like I'll put you up. So anyways, I ended up getting on this like killer lineup with like all these like very established comedians, and it was like it was like for 200 people in like a CrossFit gym in like one of the suburbs of LA. And it was so cool. The headliner ended up like hanging from like the rings in the gym. It was so fun. Like it was great.
Would you ever consider moving to like New York, LA?
I would. I mean, I really love being able to like live in Canada. Like, my family's here. Like I think I'd always realistically want to have like some sort of base here, but yeah, I would have no problem like going somewhere else. I think it would be really hard to just like if I had a project I was working on, or if I was like signed with someone, or if I was like touring with someone, it would be much easier if there was like a reason to be there. Mm-hmm. I think and some comedians do this and they hustle, but like, especially with like the US dollar with what it is, like I know a few comics that like, they hustle for like 10 years here, save up literally their whole life savings just to like live in New York for 6 months and like try to start from basically the bottom, not the bottom again, obviously, mm-hmm. but like, you're starting in a new space, you're no one there, like you don't have any connections. But yeah, I find that would be probably challenging, but who knows?
The American dream.
Yeah. the Canadian dream.
Canadian
moving to
dream
America.
now.
Yeah,
the Canadian dream moving
but
to
also, I mean, with what's happening now, like politically between Canada and America, like I don't even know if that'll be really an option so much anymore if they start restricting like like artist visas and that. So
yeah,
I really don't know what's gonna happen.
I don't know. And like one thing I am hoping for is like this kind of recent embracing people have had of like made in Canada. We want to like support Canadian businesses. Like I'm hoping that trickles into entertainment a little bit, so like when Michelle and I are on tour, people are like, oh, you know what, instead of like spending money to go to see like 4 shows in like New York City, I'm gonna go see these girls, like
you would hope so.
Yeah.
And like even with Canadian entertainment and Canadian broadcasting and all the rules and regulations around that, you would think that maybe now people would support Canadians more, at least in this current time. But
Rogers got the NHL deal.
Did they?
That's a Canadian.
Yeah.
That's the biggest broadcasting deal in NHL franchise history.
I saw, not to get political either, but I saw, and we're at the end anyway, so it's fine. I saw a stat today. It's like 2/3 of Canadians are willing to spend more to buy Canadian groceries. Respectfully, I went grocery shopping for the first time yesterday. I am not one of those Canadians. I am one of the 1/3 that is not willing to pay more for Canadian produce because I spent $100 on 2 bags of groceries.
I'm looking to spend. I want to buy good produce.
For me, 90%. If it's good and it's cheap, I'm buying it. I don't care where it's from in the world.
Yeah. Also, I wonder how long that's gonna last. Like, I think like one grocery bill if it's more expensive, so I can support Canadian, no problem. Okay.
The one is okay.
One Canadian comic, no problem.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying for one grocery bill, but I mean, if we're expecting this to go on for like months and years, people might change their tune a bit. I don't know.
Hills, we're near that point. What's one thing about you? This is my last one. I don't know if Danny's gonna. What's one thing about you that people don't know? I'm more so just curious to know.
Just in general, I'm the middle child of a set of triplets.
Okay.
Wait,
that's like I'm a triplet, so like a twin, but there's 3 of us.
You're a triplet.
Yeah.
Sorry, when I was to the middle of the set, I was like,
I got that. Yeah,
I was like, is there 2 triplets? Her in the middle.
Oh, I'm the middle one.
Yeah.
Like my sister's older than me. My brother's younger than me. Yeah.
Are you guys similar?
No, actually very different. Like so much so that it's weird. Like my brother and I, like he's tall, lanky, brunette, like very dark hair. Also is like very, not socially extroverted. He has a PhD in literally statistics and math, like very smart, but like very like bookwormy kind of smart. And then my sister, she actually has a disability, so her personality is like she's very like bubbly and light, and she loves to read. But like, yeah, we're all very different, like looks wise, personality wise, everything.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a journey. Do you guys have siblings?
I have an older brother. Yeah.
2 sisters.
Are you older or younger?
I'm the oldest.
Eldest daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that, when I came in here, I was like, she gets it. She's like, no.
Danny's got her classic brown aloe set on right now.
I
I'm
like it.
comfy today. Like, stop. Like, literally.
I just said one thing.
'Cause I already know where it's going.
Danny wears a set all the time. Like,
I wear it like
religiously.
once a week.
It's great. It's a great
And always
set.
on
Also,
podcast
aloe's
day.
expensive, so like you're doing good,
Like,
wear per
If you know how
use.
much
Yeah.
a sweater costs, you would probably throw it outside the window.
I don't buy expensive shit. I bought Danny an aloe set for her birthday last year, and I almost wanted to throw up at how much it cost.
Yeah, it's a lot.
He hated
Yeah.
the brown, so he ended up getting me a different shade of brown. Explain
Because the
me
gift
that.
isn't the gift isn't
Explain to me that.
the gift isn't for me. It's not what I like. It's what you like.
Yeah,
Why
but
would I
you
buy you
said, so I
something
don't
like?
wear this anymore.
Why would I buy you something I like if you're not gonna like it? If it was up to me, I'd buy you like a hot pink set.
Cool. Next birthday. I'm turning
Next
30.
birthday.
Yeah, you can get it.
Yeah, I'll buy you
Wait,
something
why don't
different.
you like the brown?
It looks like shit. Literally.
What are you shitting? My shit doesn't look that brown.
Really?
No, it's like, yeah,
My
let me
shit
show you.
literally looks that brown.
Let's go to
Literally.
the bathroom right now,
Now
Ricky.
she-
I'll show.
Whoa, Hillary, come on. Hillary, thank you for coming on. We appreciate you. If people want to come to the show on Saturday, how do they get tickets? What are they gonna do?
Type in Comedy Bar Toronto into any internet and click on buy tickets to Pink Chicken Comedy April 12th at 7 p.m.
Perfect. If they want to find out more about you, your podcast, everything you're doing, where can they go? How can they find you?
My podcast is called Overstimulated with Hilary Henderson. You can find it on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. If you want to follow me on socials, I'm on Instagram and TikTok at Hilary Henderson, Hilary with 1 L.
I love when people get it too, like Hillary with 1 L. Like I would have said that after, but I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
You just get it.
I don't want people following the wrong Hill Henderson out
Is
there.
there another
Like,
one with 2 L's?
I'm not sure. I don't even want to look. Might hurt my feelings.
Hillary, thank you for being a pal. And if you made it, Danny, sorry, you got anything else?
I'm good.
If you made it to the end of this, we appreciate you. Thank you. Give Hillary a follow. Give Danielle a follow. Give myself a follow. And let's go to Hillary's show on Saturday. I will be there as well. And we will see you all next week.
Bye.
Cheers, pal.